So for this lesson, we are going to be discussing congruent triangles. And what you're going to be doing is using congruent triangles to prove certain parts or all of the triangles congruent to the other triangle. We've kind of touched on this already. This is just more of the explanation side of it. Bless you. So congruent triangles have congruent corresponding parts by definition. If it says it's a congruent triangle, then you know all the parts are congruent. So if you can prove that two triangles are congruent, you can also state, such as, this side length is congruent to this side length. So let's look at example 1. Sorry, that was funny. We're going to explain how we can use this given information to prove the hang glider parts are congruent. So let's look at this hang glider. What parts are they? Look at the given. What are they telling us? Angle 1 is what? Congruent to angle 2. So I could mark it right here. This angle is congruent to this angle, right? Mm-hmm. And they also told us that RTQ is congruent to RTS. So that's this angle and this angle, right? Mm-hmm. So I always mark them. So if you're doing a problem and you can sketch it out and mark it real quick. So you already know that these are congruent to each other. How can we prove that the third angle is congruent to each other? Oh, because they're trying to find whether QT is congruent to ST. So if we can prove that third angle,
side angle side.
Why side angle side?
Because the line for R is reflective.
Because this line is reflexive. Very good. But is it side angle side? You're saying the right thing, but look at what it is. It's angle side. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an angle right there.
Yeah, this is an angle. So it's angle side. You're on the right. You knew what you're saying, you just said the wrong thing. So because of angle side, we can say that triangle QRS is congruent to, QRT is congruent to SRT because of angle side. I think I accidentally erased that. Very good. So now that we know that the one triangle is congruent to the other, because of that, we can say that QT is congruent to ST. Great. Any questions? Y'all knock that one out of the park. Let's do the next one. Example 2. I've always liked this example. This is a real world example. They actually do this stuff. This is when you do surveying. You can't very well pull a tape measure across the river, can you? Not very easily. With a boat, maybe. So you can solve a lot of this stuff by using math. So we're going to find the distance across the river from point N to P. So we're trying to find the length of that segment. Okay, so first they put a stake at K on the near side. And this is so that NK is perpendicular to NP. So what do we know about this angle then?
90.
That's a 90-degree angle. Okay? Then it says find the midpoint of NK. That's where they put M.
Mm-hmm.
And then locate point L so that NK is perpendicular to LK. NK, right here. So this is perpendicular. So then what do we know about this angle then?
90.
It's also 90 degrees. So now we have one set of angles that are congruent between these two triangles. And then it says locate point L so that NK is, I already did that. Oh, L, P, and M are collinear. This is just, they're explaining how to draw all this. They've already drawn it for me, so. if we know that M is the midpoint, is there another measurement we can say is congruent?
MP.
Close. M is the midpoint between N and K. So this segment is congruent to this segment. Good. We don't know for sure if it's the midpoint between L and P. Let's see, explain how this plan allows you to find the distance. All right, so how am I going to find the distance between N and P? How am I going to find this measurement? You can't see blue, can you? Right here, N to P.
Find LK.
Find LK, yes. And how am I able to find LK? Basically, we need to prove why these two triangles are congruent first. So we have an angle, and then a side. Is there anything else we know? Look closely. Because we got to get a third point, a third reference, right? We have an angle and a side, so we either need to find a pair of sides that are congruent or a pair of angles that are congruent. Is there a pair of angles that are congruent here?
Can you vertical?
Yes. Where's the vertical angles?
Between L and P and N.
Yeah, around this M mess.
Yeah.
So now we have what?
Angle side.
Angle, side, angle. Very good. So now because of angle, side, angle, we know that triangle LKM is congruent to triangle PNM. Awesome. So then because of that, we know that all the parts are corresponding, so we can say that segment NP is congruent to LK. Now, they didn't actually give me the measurement, but if we measured LK, we would be able to tell the measure of NP. Good. So there's your clue, guys. When you're doing this, they're usually going to give you two parts that are congruent. You just got to figure out how to find one of the third parts. Good job. Okay, I'm going to skip example 3 and 4. You're done. That's it. That's all I want you to learn out of that lesson. So you're doing numbers 3 through 8 and 21 through 22.